Joey
I'm thinking of kids who do that. I'm like, how many 4-year-olds watched this show and tried that? They were
Did you try it?
What do you get when you mix a filmmaker, a coder, a pre-K teacher, and an asshole into one podcast? You get the Joystick Show.
Correct.
Welcome to the Joystick Show.
What a bizarre group of occupations
Right?
put together. Like, how do we meet? Like, people are
It's
like,
crazy.
To be honest, that is my occupation. So, I've been called that more than my other job.
For what it's worth, I couldn't put one up together fast enough, so my brain just went insult, and that's where
a good
it
one.
lays.
no, it's a good one.
It was too
Valid.
hard for my brain to be like, marketer,
market
podcast intern, man. So,
Dylan.
It asshole, but my asshole, not my asshole.
My
Like
second asshole.
second asshole.
Right. Asshole.
You complete each other's bowel movements.
I was thinking of something there. You should have let me. Welcome to the Joystick Show. I am Robert. Dylan.
Joey.
Jerry.
So we're all just gonna use our nicknames, and I'm gonna be the one to go formal. That's cool.
I say Dylan.
That's Dilbert. It's Gerbert. And that's Jobert. And I'm Robert. Very simple here.
Gerbert.
It's not hard to
You found out our real names.
fucking. They call you Gerbert because you're icy and sweet,
Yo.
like Gerbert.
Sounds like he wears like a striped
Gerbert
shirt
is not
and like
a real thing.
Fucking make sure you go ahead and like this episode of Gerbert, and make sure to go ahead and subscribe to the Gerbert channel while you're at it. Episode 140 Gerbert. We're here to talk to you about colloquialisms,
A lot.
about ventriloquisms,
Effervescences.
I don't know another ism. Capitalism.
There we
No,
go.
We already spoke about
You got
capitalism.
it. No, I mean, you wanna, I wanna, we
Oh.
wanna,
She
they wanna.
iguana.
Wombo.
I'm just gonna go.
Do you want me to start? Or
Fuck, I don't care, Dylan. That's,
Oh,
I
okay.
just,
Did anyone see what the fuck Ron DeSantis fucking did?
He's been doing a
What did he
lot
do?
of stuff.
He tried. Okay, so I believe this was yesterday, maybe a few days ago. He tried to launch his presidential campaign, which
Yeah.
he decided that he was going to launch by doing a audio only call on Twitter with Elon Musk.
Oh, that's what I saw.
Yeah, and it didn't work.
Yeah, no shit.
The half of the conference was literally them hot miking off to the side, like, is it working? Is it not? And then when it finally did, it was the least charismatic man ever, Ron DeSantis, saying that he was promoting. He basically gave the "Make America Great Again," but like rated G.
Okay.
Like it was literally a Trump speech, but he made it more about like his family,
Okay.
and it was an epic fail.
Man, part of me wants this guy to successfully run for the Republican seat just so that we could see like the amazing anti-Mickey Mouse ear merchandise this guy comes up with.
I was about to say, Jerry, that guy's enemy to that man.
Yeah.
Proud Boys are gonna turn into like, I don't know,
Anti-Mickey. Oh my
They're
god.
gonna they're gonna like intentionally break a fucking ride.
Yeah.
They're gonna have like anti-Mickey like propaganda, like yo. Because
Man.
Disney's
They fucked up the light show.
They're trying
They
to.
fucked up the projectors.
That's why
man.
Maleficent's blowing up all the time.
Homie, we're gonna see a chain of 35 Proud Boys standing in front of Epcot and be like, no, your kids can't come in here. They're gonna be
They're indoctrinating the children.
The Chinese section's communist.
Oh man.
That's why I don't shop in the China section in Epcot.
Did
Horrible,
they even
man.
have a China section?
No, I don't
It's
think
like
so.
Asia.
They have-
Something.
Easy now. I think they have a Japan section. It's like one of those Asian countries.
It's somewhere. It's like from there.
One of them, you know.
No, I only bring it up because I just went and I can't remember.
And they have, you know, the beep.
No, they got that.
What else do
what's
they have?
Elsa? What's Elsa? She's that like.
Yeah, what is
no-
Elsa?
I don't know. Why?
What?
That's all I know.
Somewhere.
No, she's no. We'll save Joey here. She's I guess she's Norwegian because
I was
she's
about
in,
to say Norwegian. It was
Yeah,
she's
have
in the
a
Norway
they
section.
have a Norway
of
section.
Sweden
it was actually my
Norwegian,
favorite,
something like
my
that.
favorite section of.
What does that have to do with
that.
Asia? I'm so confused.
We actually went on the Frozen ride. It's pretty mid.
I was on it when it was that weird troll ride. It was like a weird, creepy, dark ride.
You
Wait,
lost me.
what? That sounds horrifying.
Yeah, it was. Bro.
Is
Are we
it-
still
it's a
talking
small-
about Ron DeSantis?
We can if you want.
I just don't know. I lost track.
We're in Disney now. But yeah, there was a dark ride, and it was all about like Norwegian troll lore, and it was creepy. There were like Like if you were open to like an ancient Norwegian book and all the images were in there, that one was on the ride, and they took it out because it was like creeping the hell out of all the children.
Yeah, that's about to say.
And they replaced it with Frozen.
Gotcha. So where's the Ron DeSantis ride?
Not in Disney.
Where's the ride?
Anti-Ron DeSantis.
What do you
ride.
get in for the Ron DeSantis ride? You know, at Fast and Furious, it's like a party bus. Spider-Man ride, it's like the Daily Bugle shit.
Oh my god.
I feel like Ron DeSantis is just like a shitty black Lincoln. It's like
it's like
the most Republican car.
No,
like
it's like a country stars like RV, you know, like a country
and a
tour
shooting
bus.
game, like the Buzz Lightyear one.
Oh, it's one of those?
Yeah,
got you.
I don't even want
and
to
it's
say
everything that he
what
disagrees with is what you're shooting.
I think
at.
I actually have a really good
Florida, it's you're actually shooting someone that tries to.
I have a
stand your
great
ground well.
I have a
Yeah.
great idea that brings us right back,
Yeah.
right? So obviously DeSantis wants to run for president and he's against Disney World.
Mm-hmm.
What do, bro? You make DeSantisland. Come on, that's incredible. Are you
The
kidding?
sanctuary?
No, that'll be like where you leave like kids at, you know, who aren't old enough for DeSantisland.
That's like the kiddie section.
Yeah,
of a theme
exactly.
park.
There'll be a water park, you know.
So DeSantisland is like extreme. I thought it was like
No, it's exactly like Disney World, but not gay.
Oh.
It's kind of like that, pretty much, or at least not gay in DeSantis's eyes.
Yeah.
You know what
Not
I'm
gay.
saying?
Mascot is
His eyes.
DeSanta.
No, because I thought they have like that amusement park with like the real like with no they have like a 1-for-1 recreation of Noah's Ark, which like what did they base it off?
Oh,
of?
is that the Jesus
Yeah,
part?
yeah, yeah. And
What
I
is
said
the Holy Land?
Yeah, but they just make that about like right wing politics.
No. DeSantisland is like it's like Disney World, but they try really hard to not make it gay. You know what I mean? Like they're like, no, I don't know about that. Everybody in blue shirts. Everybody's gonna wear blue shirts.
The boys are wearing blue shirts
Yeah.
and the girls wear the pink shirts.
Hey, for the summer we got these yellow outfits. I don't know about that. I don't know about these yellow ones. It's a little too close. Well, blue and black. That's all we're gonna wear today. So it's just like really fucking conservative Disney World.
I would like to see there. It's a small world where it's just Caucasian people.
Yeah,
just
exactly.
Asian
No, but
children.
in the outfits of the other cultures,
Of
like you know,
course.
white people as Ugandans,
Yeah.
white people as
That's exactly it's a
Inuits.
small world.
Yeah,
Pirates
exactly.
of the Cayman Islands,
Mhm.
you know.
Exactly.
Yada, yada.
Pirates of Ron DeSantis.
Pirates.
I'm here for this.
Oh
I'm here
my
for
God.
this.
It's like liberals, like
If you need help, Ron, let me know.
DeSantis.
We'll work on this
Yeah.
together.
That just
I'll take a VP
that
deal.
just reminds me of Superstar Limo.
The
You guys
fuck
know
is
about
Superstar Limo?
It was a Disney ride that was supposed to be a. They tried to come up with a new ride. It was like maybe late. Now, when did Princess Diana die?
95.
The
97, didn't she?
Yeah. So essentially, it was.
Just got that one in your back pocket.
Wait, what? Wait, what?
That's
Or
Jerry-
96?
That's Jerry's fun. He answered so confidently. He was like 97.
No, 90,
I respect.
90
Because it was like when we were young,
98, I think, because that's why a lot of people are named Diana around
It's
their
late
age.
90s, I thought.
Yeah.
But anyways,
Yeah, first of all, it's 97. It's a little scary,
Yeah.
Jerry.
Yeah,
And that's actually why my mom is named Diana.
yeah.
Oh wow.
No.
nice. But essentially, what happened was they made an amusement park ride that was like you were like a paparazzi, someone following
I
superstars.
vaguely remember this.
And what happened was the Princess Diana thing happened.
Yeah.
So then they decided to make it a slow ride. So now
Take it easy.
So now it's so the entire ride it's a small world, but the entire ride is like Hollywood innuendos. So it's like a bunch of celebrities like
I think you
"Yeah."
mentioned this.
And
yeah.
it's like the worst ride ever.
Yeah.
And they quickly had to make it just other shit.
Not so fun fact, that
I
same
wanna
shit
do it.
actually just happened to Meghan Markle and this guy in New York City like a week
What
ago. They
happened?
were leaving an event and they literally were involved in a like vehicle chase where they were being chased by paparazzis and shit like that. It's like, have we not learned?
Yeah.
No, they'll never.
There's a
learn.
princess. Catch her. People care.
I have not heard of Superstar Limo, but I've heard of Superstore, Dylan.
Yeah.
And it's a great show.
Okay.
It's a
Right.
fantastic
Oh,
watch.
is that the Walmart kind of show?
Yeah, I wanted to bring it up because it's been a while since I've like binged a show, especially like
Yeah.
on the podcast. So this will be something that I could bring up now,
Mhm.
and then when I finish it in like 3-4 episodes worth of podcast, I could bring it up again. You know, so it's kind of like the fun pursuit of will Bobby enjoy Superstore as much as he's enjoying now?
Mm-hmm.
The answer is so far so good.
So far,
Yeah.
so good.
It's really great. It's I gotta say that cast is like
Yeah.
for like to give a comparison, not in terms of quality, but just in terms of like recognition, I guess. You look at a cast like from Parks and Rec, where everybody's a pretty big name actor nowadays, right?
Mhm.
Like, you know, you have Aubrey Plaza, Chris Pratt, Aziz Ansari, Amy Poehler, right? Rob Lowe. And then you go to Superstore And it's like really just America Ferrera. I'd really say
It's America Ferrera and a bunch of comedians that didn't get a break.
exactly. But I think because of that, the comedy is heightened that much more. So the talent is like ridiculous. Like you can't really pick anybody but America Ferrera in that show and be like, oh, they're amazing and this and that. But on Superstore, they're incredible. It's like their dynamics are insane. The jokes are really quick-witted and fast, which I like. It's super snappy.
I've only seen two. I'm sorry. I only seen like half of an episode or two. It was with you guys, and I was laughing my ass off. It was freaking great.
It's a very, very good show. I remember back in the day, I didn't get into it when it was first on TV, like back in like 2014, 2015.
No one got into it. It was like not
publicized. I watched it with my family for a bit, maybe in like the season 3 era, maybe. But like I just remember seeing that it was like, oh, some people who made The Office made it and stuff like that. And I was like, it's definitely not The Office, you know?
I think it's better than The Office.
Because the way Bobby's bringing it up, it sounds like it'd be better.
It's better.
And I've been thinking about
the comedy is. I don't want to say that because when I first went into it, that was my main fear of it. But it is definitely. It's like I don't want to say the comedy's like better, but it's like more blunt, maybe. I don't know how to describe it.
It's
like
very straightforward.
It's funny.
I think it's
fucking funny.
I'm gonna say an opinion that I was actually talking to my mom about that I just came up with. I'm sure other people have had the same opinion, but I actually think out of like the what I consider to be the 4 staple NBC comedies: The Office, Parks and Rec, Superstore, and Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I just think out of all of those, The Office ages so much worse than the other ones.
The least amount of giggles, definitely,
like,
or even like nose exhales.
Like, don't get me wrong, The Office is a great show, but like the longer that it goes on, I feel like whenever I revisit the show, it just doesn't entertain me the same way that a show like Parks does.
Parks and Rec is
and I think it's actually just because Parks and Recreation does the one thing that none of those other shows really does and tackles like real world issues with comedy. So it's almost timeless. You go back and you watch Parks and they're talking about shit we're still dealing with, so you still kind of laugh at it. Whereas The Office, as funny as it is, it's like it's almost like you're being let into inside jokes. It's like this is an office and this is how they work.
Right. Yeah, you're being like,
and that's very similar to Superstore. They're both workplace comedies, right?
That's the similar point.
But here's something weird, right? For whatever reason, the workplace of like a big brand name store is that much more entertaining than like a tiny office. You know what I'm saying?
And it's like
there's a lot to work with.
Hell yeah.
And I didn't work at like a place like that, but I worked at like a mini place, and even a miniature place has like chaos and drama and all this shit. So just think like what a giant store like in Walmart.
To give the show credit on one thing. The show, and I've binged it pretty hard. You showed us the last podcast.
I'm so fucking impressed.
Yeah, I'm halfway through season 3.
How Bobby can just speed his way through any show. It's actually very impressive.
But fucking one thing that I find really interesting, and I can speak to it since I'm literally halfway through the show, is halfway through the show where I am now, I think they've left the Superstore set less than 5 times. The show is completely contained in the store, and it's that much better for it. It's not like, let's go to Amy's house and see what's going on. Let's go to Garrett's house. It's literally contained in Superstore, and then if anything, it's in the parking lot or the garden section or the warehouse. But everything is in the store, which is way better, in my opinion.
I think so as well, yes.
And another thing I was just going to add, I am thinking about this a lot, but I like to think about shit like this. To compare The Office and Superstore, I think there's one huge, like, major critical difference that makes Superstore a slightly more enjoyable show for me, and that's the introduction of customers. The Office doesn't have the interaction. It has the interaction between salesmen and who they're pitching to.
A good fucking point.
But The Office almost brings the best of both worlds. Superstore almost brings the best of both worlds between The Office and Parks, because it introduces that office type setting while also introducing the people, which is literally like the fucking bad guy in Parks and Rec is the people in the town. So it kind of introduces both, and it works. It works really fucking well. And I think last but not least, my favorite thing about the show is it doesn't really try to be anything bigger than it is. So the show, the best way I could describe it is it just kind of stays in its lane, and it's funnier for it. It doesn't try to be overly emotional. It doesn't really make you tearjerk or anything. The show is very like
it does it on its own. I would
yeah,
say.
it's really
It
kind of
doesn't-
similar to Brooklyn Nine-Nine
Yeah.
in that aspect. It's really just like they focus on the jokes and nothing else. They don't really try to teach you anything. They don't really try to
No lessons.
Yeah.
No morals.
exactly.
Just-
In fact,
just
there's a lot of
fucking
episodes
jokes.
where they have like a lot of the characters are on opposite sides of the spectrum and they just like battle it out. It's not like it's like a pro this kind of show. And for that, I like it a lot. So I'm really excited to finish it.
I got a question for you. Are shows based off like comedy workplace shows unfunny when you work in that specific workplace?
I disagree because I think Abbott Elementary is really funny.
I was about to say, yeah.
I mean, the whole thought behind it is that they're supposed to be funnier, right?
Mhm.
Like it's supposed to be like, oh, you can relate harder. Like then that's like the cheapest comedy is like relatable comedy.
But
Right.
that's what kind of turns me. It's almost like as a teacher, it's almost like, hey, you're gonna find this funny because you deal with it, and I'm like, I don't find it funny. It's
well,
like,
I think
it
Abbott
feels
Elementary
like
is
it's gonna-
funny, but
I think there are times I've chuckled, but I'm not like there are people that are like, this is an amazing show, and I'm like, I don't find it that I deal with this every day.
but that
Like,
again, you know, like
I
it's not
find
like
it relatable.
it's like the people who made the show were like, fucking, oh, Joey's not gonna like it because he's a teacher.
No,
like
no.
they're
They're appealing to everyone.
yeah,
else,
as best as possible.
also, I
That's
don't know.
what made me
I've-
think like tattooists don't watch tattoo shows.
But I
Because
was-
they said,
I was
I
also
don't
just
wanna hear
gonna
that.
say because fucking. Regardless, even if it's a workplace comedy, none of those shows are realistic. They're,
Yeah,
they're
there's
so
always
far
something
from
going on.
realistic. That's the whole point. I feel like even if I worked all of those jobs, I would watch that and be like, I fucking wish. You know
oh
what
no,
I mean?
no,
Like,
that's what makes like Superstore, for example. Like that's what makes it so funny. Like,
Yeah.
one of the main gags throughout the show is they have like bumpers between like the commercials and stuff that just show like the customers in the store doing something, and it's always
are
fucking
incredible.
hysterical.
They're
And it's
so
always
good.
like the guy.
and there's always like 4 per episode,
Yeah,
and a
oh,
lot
there's
of them
tons.
relate to the episode, which
Mhm.
is even cooler too. There's a whole episode where one of the characters, Cheyenne, misplaces the boss's foster daughter, and the whole episode in those bumpers, it's just the
It's
daughter.
where she is.
Like weird at like she's literally camouflaged with the baby dolls in the toy section.
This one.
There's one where you see like a Tupperware just move slowly across the aisle. It's great.
And this one, I don't know if it's this one. I think it's another kid, but this one is a kid in like the DVD case.
Yeah,
and
he's
he's
stuck.
like trying to get out. Stupid shit like that. Where it's like,
The one I saw that had me crying was this old man behind the pharmaceutical desk, and he's just taking like pills and putting it in his shopping
Oh
bag.
man, the pharmacist Tate is one of the best characters on that show.
I remember that one.
He's only on. I've already like spoiled some stuff, but I think he leaves after season 3.
yeah.
But for the first couple seasons, he's so great because he's like the asshole character, but like the I'm better than you asshole character. So like they're literally talking about like what everybody's numbers are and rankings. They're like, he's a 4 because he's not that good looking in this, but he gets a 5 because of this or whatever. And they're like, what about Tate? And they're like, Tate's an asshole, but he's an 8 because he's got abs and a hot tub. And he's like, you fucking know it.
Yeah, no, the characters on that show really surprised me. Like, I thought it would be kind of like this ragtag bunch of, like, you know.
No, they're really well put together.
But they're very well put together, and they're very, I don't know, surprisingly complex.
I also like that they kind of break that stigma of like who you have to be to work in a place like that, because like that's one of the bigger things that gets talked about. It's like, why is Jonah here? Why is Garrett here? Like they seem above this place, but there's reasons behind it, and it's because it relates to the real world, right? There's even people there just as a part-time gig.
Yeah.
I know tons of people who work in like City Hall and shit, and then work at Costco for like 3 hours.
Yep.
That's
So
true.
It's super
Very,
realistic.
very true.
But yeah, my new favorite show right now, and I hope it's still good when I finish it. I'm really
How many
crossing the
seasons
fingers.
are there? Because I want to check it out.
6.
6
It's a pretty quick watch.
There's a lot of episodes, but it you know.
The first and
You
last
got through
seasons
pretty
have like
good.
11 or so episodes, and then every other one has 20 something. So
I can get through it. I'll watch it.
they're quick, yeah. Parks is still number 1 though.
Yeah.
There will be, trust me, there's going to be a whole episode of the Joystick Show dedicated to Parks and Recreation. That was supposed to be one of the first 10 episodes we ever made, but we never got to it.
No,
But
I feel like we all had to get more
we
familiar
could
with
just
the
skip
show.
like to 130 episodes to where
Yeah.
we are now.
Yeah.
I've watched it, but it's been a long time, and I think I
I've
agree with
watched
Bobby
one
that it's.
episode, and it was one of those episodes where people are always like, "Oh no, you need to keep watching. It
Yeah.
gets better."
I've only watched the series about 9
rotations?
times.
Oh, 9.
Mhm.
10 times maybe at this
I
point.
agree with Bobby that it is. I think it is the best of the
Of those.
of those.
shows.
Yeah, for
Parks?
sure.
Workplace situational comedies.
Yeah, for sure. I was watching The Office, and I was like, it's not as good.
I remember the first time I saw The Office, and I really enjoyed it. And then now when I see The Office on in hotel rooms and stuff, I'm like, oh yeah, that was a funny episode. And then as the episode goes on, I'm like not laughing at anything. I'm like,
Another thing to note is The Office is rooted in pessimism, whereas Parks is rooted in optimism. The Parks is a very can-do show. It doesn't make either one more or less funny, but it does make it a little more appealing. And one thing that I always really liked about Parks is it's more of like it's a better based show in the sense that like each season works towards a bigger goal. So you can still have episodes that don't necessarily deal with anything, or like rather they don't relate to the last one or the next one, but they still achieve something that works towards that goal, like the Harvest Festival, Leslie running for city councilwoman, fucking the Unity concert. There's literally one every single season, but it makes the show that much better to watch because it's cohesive. Superstore even does that to a degree too, where like a tiny event could happen as like a throwaway joke in episode 2, and in episode 9 it's the whole plot of that joke.
Wow.
Like there's an episode where there's like a tornado that hits. That's like a pretty serious episode, and there's like a 2-second cutaway where one of the coworkers, Brett, who's silent for the entire series, says the only words he ever says on the show. He sees the tornado coming and he goes, "Oh shit." And then like 7 episodes later, they're like, "Oh, Brett's dead because he hasn't showed up to work in 3 months and nobody's heard from him." So they hold the funeral, and then Brett shows up to work, and it turns out that when he saw the tornado, he walked to his car and drove away. Like, it's fucking incredible. You see, like shit like that happens all the time. Yeah. I'm literally in a moment in the show where they lost a foot during the tornado, and it gets brought up like every 6 episodes. And they're like, "Is that the foot?" No, they found him with both feet. And they're like, "Whose fucking foot was it?" And I'm trying to figure out whose foot it was.
That's kind of funny.
I mean, run-on jokes are always like the key to comedy, but the show does it well. And I also like this like side thing where it's like one of the main things of the show is like the company, which is Cloud9.
Yeah.
Like they have new employees, they have a training program.
Yeah.
Like there's like several training videos in the show.
Oh yeah, anti-racism, anti-sexual harassment. My favorite part is like after the tornado hits, one of the coworkers gets like PTSD from it, so they want to try to like make her feel better. So the boss Glenn is like, "We don't have a binder for anything anti-tornado, but we do have one for workplace shootings." So he just replaces everything with tornado. So he's like, "Your workplace has fallen victim to a tornado. But you have to remember to keep your coworkers safe while also reminding them with every American's right to own tornadoes." Shit like that. And it's dumb shit, man. Fuck. I could keep on, but
bro, I'd like a tornado.
You like a tornado?
Yeah, just keep it in my back pocket, you know. Release it on my enemies.
I keep that motherfucking tornado on me.
Keep the tornado on deck, bro, on the side of the car.
Fucking pocket tornado.
What's funny is people at home think we're talking about like a code name for a weapon, but we're all talking about having a small tornado that we can pull out and use as a weapon.
It's in a Mario 5 capsule.
Exactly.
There's actually a legit power up a tornado in Mario 5.
Rocket League style.
And before we swing it, I just wanted to mention one last thing. It's actually not about Superstore, but it is about a TV show.
Okay.
A show that I know you've binged that I did want to shout out, even though it's not an NBC comedy. Shout outs to Modern Family, because that show's up there with all of those.
That show's a good show. I watched all that last year.
I just wanted to shout that one out because even though I can't speak to it in the NBC family, it's still great. And also after Superstore, I'm going to jump on 9/9 and finish that one. So I actually finished after Fox dropped it, so I never saw the last 3 seasons when NBC picked it back up. I just watched all like the not emotional, but all the important story beat shit.
You know, Letterboxd is for movies. I wish there was Letterboxd would add or someone else would create one for television as well. Like I'm like,
there's a place for it.
There are times I want to talk about it.
I don't watch enough TV for that. Also, I kind of like Letterboxd since it's for movies. It's a little more contained. But
yeah, true. The show I'm binging right now is Everybody Hates Chris.
Really?
Yeah.
Wouldn't have guessed that one.
You could have given me like 800.
Does your mom have anything to do with that? Or?
Surprisingly, no. But I think like she's also encouraging of it. Like she was like, "Yeah, let's put that show on again." I think we saw like a few episodes after the whole Chris Rock thing. And we were like, "Did this age well? Is this funny? Is this and that?" And we were like, "Yeah, this is funny. I like this."
I could never get into Everybody Hates Chris. I really tried. Really. That was like a show that was a show that was always on in my grandma's house. So I always gave it a shot. But I just couldn't like the humor. No, and also, I think it goes a little deeper. You could sue me if you want. I'm not the biggest Chris Rock fan. I think that's where part of it comes from too. And also, my favorite black family sitcom growing up was My Wife and Kids.
There's like several better like blacks. I don't know. My Wife and Kids is better. Mm-hmm. A million %.
Shout out to Damon Wayans. Fuck it, let's do it. What did you watch at Grandma's house?
I watched a lot of PBS Kids.
Yeah, you did.
Martha Speaks, Curious George.
Well, here's the thing. You remember and when PBS in the morning, that was like for the little kids. But I still watched it. You know, some Clifford the Big Red Dog, right? I think that was, what was this kid's name? Super Y?
That's what I was watching at my grandma's house, man.
No, that's what I'm saying. But it would be on early because early was like the more educational.
That shit would be on even after school.
No, after school was when they were playing like Cyber Chase, fucking Arthur.
Were they? I kind of remember seeing Super Y.
Trust me, this was a daily thing for me
Yeah,
for like
Bob,
6 years.
I never even heard of Super Y, and I watched a lot of PBS.
Super Y, it's it's terrible.
It's a baby show.
Yeah, some Indian guy stole it and used it for a phone commercial. Here's
Yeah.
what that looks like. Here's the comparison: Super Y, Indian Super Y.
He really did use that.
No, do you remember Super Y? Did you watch it?
Yeah, there's 4 characters.
It's 4 superheroes, and they're fucking
fairy tale characters.
No, they're like but they're like supposed to be like fucking like
never
literature.
heard
They're
of
supposed
this
to be
shit.
like literature superheroes. So everything is based.
So stupid.
Oh yeah, it's for babies, but it's supposed to be like vocabulary and all that shit. And each one is for like one is a vocab hero, one is like a spelling hero and
the
shit.
pig is
There's
a builder,
pig.
and he's a spelling hero.
Yeah, they're Super Y.
There's
hero.
Princess
A
P, and
princess.
she's alliteration.
It was the last one, like Little Red Riding Hood.
The last one was the Jack and the Beanstalk or something. Little Red Riding Hood was the power.
This shit is made up, bro. You made the shit. It's like, oh yeah, they made superheroes based on the Brothers Grimm. Like, no, it's made up, bro.
But the main guy, the captain of the whole team, his power was the power to read, which that's the most OP power of all these fucking
I know
kids.
this. I know these fuckers.
Dylan thought we were making this shit up.
No, I know. I've seen
How
the
can you
memes.
forget this?
Yeah, I
Yo,
don't remember
now
this
you're
at
gonna know
all.
what I'm talking about. Remember Word Girl?
Word Girl is funny as hell.
That show was actually a
That
little
show
too
is
good for
funny.
PBS kids.
No idea what you're talking about.
That show was self-aware.
No,
as
yeah,
hell.
Word Girl was like another. I think it actually played right after Super Y. It was another one of those like here's how to spell shows, but it was actually written hilarious. Like it was like
wasn't about spelling. It was about what words meanings.
yeah, definitions.
Why
that's
do I
what it
have
was.
so much knowledge on PBS shit?
Bro, that was all I fucking watched.
I know,
He's
but
a PK teacher.
Joey has all of like the knowledge part, and Bobby knows the plot, but he
Bobby's
doesn't know
like, this happened to this, and I'm like, yeah, because that happened to this.
And Bobby was like, it was about learning.
No, so what's actually
Spelling.
funny is when I used to go to my grandma's house, I had a schedule for how I would watch TV at grandma's house.
Okay.
So in the mornings, I would watch the morning shows of PBS. And then PBS used to play like, when they used to go into like Sesame Street Reading Rainbow, I'm out. I'm there for the cartoons. I'm not here to watch well, I was, but I would leave PBS Kids and I would watch something on like, here's a couple throwbacks for you. My 9.
Okay.
UPN.
Yeah,
You know,
I know
Pix
UPN.
11 back
Yeah,
then.
I know Pix 11.
So I would watch shows like Family
And the
Feud
CW.
with John O'Hurley.
That's why you like them shows so much.
I'd watch fucking My Wife and Kids. I'd watch Dear. What is it?
Evan Hansen.
Fuck, the one with Mike O'Malley. Yes, Dear.
Oh, I
used
like
to watch
Yes
that.
Dear.
I
Everybody Loves
did.
Raymond?
I used to watch a couple episodes of that. That would end up
My house was King of Queens. King of Queens was fucking funny. I didn't
Raymond
get any
Raymond
of the
aired a
jokes,
little
but-
too late. At that point, that was when my parents were coming to get me. So I was like, at the latest point was like 7, and we would watch Jeopardy.
Miss
Oh.
Raymond.
And I'll never
Bob be like, damn it.
I'll never forget at 5
Bitch.
o'clock on PBS. This is actually pretty funny. On 5 o'clock at PBS, they would turn it into news. So that's kind of when the kid shit stopped, and when it's like Antiques Roadshow and all that stuff. But it was always like some world news shit, and it was so funny because it would literally be the end of Cyber Chase, and it's like, yeah, and it'd be like an old man behind a desk, and it's just like the shittiest.
3 women were stabbed and gutted.
But I remember for years I would just like turn off the TV and like go do something else. And then one day I was like, what else is there to watch? And I stumbled on TBS and they were playing Family Guy. And that was the first time I ever watched Family Guy. And then that literally started not only my love for the show, but then that whole block was filled up with Family Guy into The Simpsons. And that's when I started watching like the adult animated cartoons.
Adult animated cartoons like Lil Bill?
Yeah, Little Bill.
That was my other grandma who had cable.
Little Bill.
Franklin.
Franklin. Yo, that Jerry was holding for these shows. He was like, when are we getting into this?
The Nick Jr.
Juicy
We could jump into some. Well,
Was that
there's
Nick Jr.?
No, the thing was I had 2 grandmas growing up. My grandma Elba lived on the 3rd floor at a relatively nicer project building, but she didn't have cable. My grandma Adela lived on the 18th floor of a terrible building, but she had cable. So when I had to stay with grandma, I got to actually watch like fucking Nick Jr. and Cartoon Network and shit like that.
Yeah.
But
I never really watched Nick Jr., but I do remember those shows.
Nick Jr. was Little Bill, Franklin,
Oswald,
Little
the
Bear,
Octopus.
Oswald,
Yeah, that
Blue's
lineup
Clues,
was
Dora.
trash. I had Blue's Clues.
I did Blue's Clues, Dora.
Don't shit on Blue's
I'm about to shoot your ass back. Maggie and the Ferocious Beast.
That sounds familiar.
Maggie and the Ferocious Beast.
watched
That's
that.
the big orange monster.
You remember
right?
Face? The guy on Nick
Yeah.
Jr. He was the mascot of Nick
was
Jr.
the mascot.
They would just color the screen and put a face on it. He talked to the kids. He'd be like, "Hey kids, I'm Face."
I'm
I
waiting
like
for
him.
a creepypasta of that for the younger generation who don't know who Face is.
It's
and they
funny
get
because
so
like when
scared.
it's described, it sounds horrifying. But
Yeah, it's
even
just
when
a
you watch,
face,
when you
just
watch,
like,
like you go, they have it on YouTube. It's like, oh, it's actually kind of funny. Like you know what I mean? But like when it's explained, you're like, why would
when it's
anybody
explained,
like
it sounds
that?
terrifying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you
You watch
imagine
it, it's
a
like, oh,
human
that's cute.
face. Yeah.
Giant face with blood on it.
All right, let's just fucking end it off. Cartoon Network.
I was about to say, have you guys seen the childhood versions of Cartoon Network? It would play before I
Hold
go
on.
to school.
I want to try.
I
I vaguely remember this.
I didn't even watch regular Cartoon
I
Network.
only remember
Baby
2.
Looney Tunes.
Yes.
That was a good one.
Baby Looney Tunes was there. This is a super obscure one. It was on for like a season, but there was a show called Sitting Ducks that would play really early in the mornings with like an
Whoa,
alligator.
sounds familiar.
Yeah,
The alligator and the
that
duck.
was super old school.
Jeez.
What else was
That's made up.
What else was early?
I'm sorry, can I talk about this weird ass moment in that show? The only thing I remember in that show was
No,
that
it was
they
a
got-
weird show.
They got frozen in ice, and the only way to get unfrozen was to get literally the girl duck character to kiss everyone that was frozen in ice because they got like really hot to get unfrozen.
Cool.
Like real life.
What were the other child Cartoon Network shows?
Duck Dodgers.
Duck
No,
Dodgers?
that was Boomerang.
Was that Boomerang?
That was
was
Boomerang.
Boomerang.
It was
Really?
never
What the
Cartoon
fuck?
Network.
And that's one of the best Looney Tunes cartoons ever made.
I
Yeah,
want
it
to give
was.
Duck Dodgers a watch. That shit was
I'll
funny.
rewatch it with you. That's a great show.
I
No,
love Jack
Harry
Robinson.
and his bucket full of dinosaurs. It was this kid that had a bunch of toy buckets.
Yeah. I
And
didn't
he'd,
watch
like,
it, but I remember that.
Jump head first in it from his
Oh.
bed, and I was like 8th grade. This was before. No.
Jump head first into a fucking bucket.
No.
Why are you watching kids?
Sounds like a prison
I
suicide
imagine
attempt,
Joey-
bro. What the
I just imagine
I'm
Joey.
thinking of kids who did that. I'm like, how many 4-year-olds watched this show and tried that? They were
Did
like,
you try it?
no, I was old
As
enough
an
to
eighth
try
grader.
it.
As an eighth. Why are you watching it as an eighth grader?
Because
bro?
it would play on before school, so I'd wake up. My sister's getting her hair brushed because like girls in Catholic school had to go through excruciating pain, and then I'd just put on Cartoon Network Junior and watch Harry and his bucket full of dinosaurs, and that shit was dumb.
Nah, bro. I would watch fucking Mike Woods on Fox 5.
Gordon the
What a
Garden
beautiful
Gnome.
black man.
What were the other shows you had, though? You said the dinosaur one and another.
Gordon the Garden Gnome.
You lost me there.
Oh, Dragon Tales. You got
Dragon Tales was
PS.
PS.
That's PBS.
It was
Yeah.
That's not homie or.
P.S.
PS.
I'm gonna order that
The
PlayStation.
Yeah.
PlayStation, bro. The new place.
I mean, I guess
I
this
think I was
kind of
the
gets
only one
like
that
to what
did.
I was doing today. I
didn't
went to
do
the
it either.
mall and got a new
I didn't
phone.
get any food.
Oh, you got a new
This
phone?
shit is fucking.
Look
Look,
at
it looks
Look
so
at that.
ridiculous.
Got one of those.
Looks like a fucking bug.
I don't know nothing
Oh,
about
real quick,
phones.
I just also wanted to shout out, not to go on a whole other tangent about, because half of this episode was just fucking preschool programming, but just a quick shout outs to the HBO preschool programming, fucking Little Curious, what was it, Little Curious?
Little Curious.
Crashbox.
I thought you were gonna mention Crashbox.
Crash, that was my favorite.
Oh, that was too expensive.
Yeah,
Harold,
I
and
loved
the, Harold and the
Crashbox.
Purple Crayon. Remember I Spy?
I Spy was weird on to watch.
Isn't that a book?
It is
yeah,
a
but they
book.
turned it into a show.
Huh.
How'd they make a book a show? Jerry's like really crafted it. Like,
Bro, how'd they make a book a show?
Yeah, I had the book and you fucking look for the stuff. Boom.
They personified characters and they're like, we need to find this, and then they'd show a thing, and then you would hear his voice. Do you see it? And he'd walk around the still image until you spotted it yourself. Which kind of sounds.
Is that where the I Spy game comes from?
No, I think it had to have been the
Two
book.
separate?
the
No,
book
the
was
show.
first, definitely.
Wait, like the I Spy with my little eye?
Yeah.
No, that was just like a thing people made up. And then-
Yeah.
It's like a riddle and then the book for
Yeah.
and then,
No, actually, I read. I mean, I'm not gonna fucking go on. This is gonna be another chapter. But I there's a video that actually talks about the guy who started those pictures and how he turned it into the book, and how there's like a whole method to the madness where he like finds objects that have themes or colors that match and he puts them together. It's actually pretty cool because there's like an art form to it. It's not if you look at those books, it's not like the guy just opens a drawer and he's like, "Where's the fucking flashlight?"
I was about to say, like, does he just like get a bunch of loose items and is like, blah, blah, picture?
No, I think it actually
Find the toenail.
I think what it was is it started as like an art piece, and then like he turned it into a game. Like he was like, find the button. Like, where did I put the button?
That's kind of. I'm just thinking of a guy like trying to sell his art piece, and like everyone's just like, oh, and then he just does a big sigh like, okay, find the button, and then everyone's like, oh, and immediately
to swing
skyrockets.
To swing this into another medium of nostalgia, real quick. Did you guys like grow up playing like disc-based PC games, like where you?
I had a few.
I had a few.
The I Spy ones were fire.
They were really good.
Because what they would do is
they were on my cousin's computer.
Yeah, they would mix the I Spy elements where you had to like look for things with other puzzle elements. So you would be like, you'd find all these pieces of a map in different places, and then you put the map together, and then it's I Spy, and you have to find the thing in the map and shit like that.
That's like a puzzle within a puzzle.
No, yeah, that's why it was sick. And also the Nancy Drew games were incredible. Those were fun.
I played Reader Rabbit. A Toy Story game.
Reader Rabbit threw me so fucking hard. Oh my god!
I love a parade.
The one where they go to camp.
Shit.
Oh
Jesus
shit!
Christ. I just played the mini clip games. This is
Reader Rabbit's little red fucking sweater.
The only disc games I had Candyland and I had StarCraft. Very different games.
Did you have the Toy Story game with the one in the luggage where you jump from like luggage to luggage?
I think yeah.
The cone and the traffic cone.
One of the games is like a top-down version where you have to steer the car. And you sucked at it because you were a child.
Yeah, I had that exact same one. I got it for Easter.
I wanted to talk about this. Did you know Club Penguin had a good month where Club Penguin was on fire? Like the whole island was on fire and like a dictatorship. Like it was crazy.
Was this like by the people? From...
Yeah. No, like it was.
I believe it.
It was in my recommendation. It was like the saddest year of Club Penguin, and it was like the most like they had like clickbaity thumbnails, so I clicked on it to watch, and it was an essay video explaining that in like 2019, like late 2019, the villain in their their point and click games takes over Club Penguin and literally burns everything to the ground. Like you go to the main plaza, the coffee shop is destroyed, the dance club is on fire.
Oh, that's great.
The music is like intense. You go to the theater and it's a play about him destroying Club Penguin. The pizza parlor is replaced with sardines. Like, and they were like, it was like that for like a good month where all these kids were like, wow, we lost. Like the villain won our island for a good month. And then of course they brought like the final mission to restore the island. And they said that was the hypest thing.
Oh, of course.
Like the player rate was out of like beyond what they imagined. And they said, like, it was according to the guy who says when I was young and he played it, he was like, this was the hypest thing for a child. Like, kids were going to school, like, we're taking that motherfucker down together.
This was the thing. Yeah, no, because Club Penguin, I remember when I played it, it was kind of in that era where, like, they were towards the end of doing events. They didn't really do, like, real-time events anymore. But that was the thing where every, like, year or a few months they would do a new event. And that's when, like, you ever heard of Tip the Iceberg?
Mm-hmm.
I remember that.
That's what that was. Year before that one, they did Tip the Iceberg, where for, like, a few days you would be able to tip the iceberg and to flip over and do a whole animation. And then they got rid of it after a month. And then people would just keep trying to do it forever and ever. And then became, like, an urban legend type deal.
I remember that.
Fire. I used to play Fusion Fall for a little bit. That was Cartoon Network's attempt at an MMO.
Ooh. I played the
K&D
MMO. They had K&D had an MMO
and an MMO.
What was I gonna say?
That was when I started like leaning off of the website.
Remember Toontown? I never had that one.
That sounds familiar.
I had it, but I never paid for subscription.
Bro, you know what I'm going to talk about, bro.
The game immediately stops being fun when it's like, you're not going to pay? All right, fuck you. Like it literally drops you, and you're like, you can't do anything that they showed you they let you try. You can't buy any clothes. You're stuck with the way you look, and it's like, and you're stuck to only this section.
So real quick, this is just the nostalgia episode.
Yeah,
that's official.
right.
That's all this is. But real quick,
also I think I dropped your phone. Sorry.
All good.
Do you guys remember
on the floor.
when New York? Do you remember when Cartoon Network introduced the live action shows? Like Destroy, Build, Destroy.
I like two of them.
It was what was the other one?
Dude,
what would happen?
Was that guy like a person? Like, was he a person? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, is he like a celebrity?
Is he a human being?
Andrew WK, the white guy.
Yeah.
He is, but he. That's who everyone knows him for now.
I was
you know
like,
what I
it's
mean?
just the story
Andrew
about the story
WK
guy.
is definitely a celebrity and a guy.
He's
Didn't
like
he
he's
do
like
the Borderlands 3.
he's like
at the
Dave Grohl's cousin. That Dave Grohl's dad
Right?
makes him bring around everywhere. They're like, take Andrew with you. Okay?
Yeah, that's actually the best.
And Andrew's like,
comparison.
yeah. And Dave's like, you can't do that all
Didn't
the
he
time.
promote Borderlands? Like he was like,
They had him do that. Yeah, they had him
They had
literally
him-
do that. Yeah.
Last thing I want to talk about,
Okay.
because I know we can all speak to it a little bit.
Okay.
It actually got me a little hype.
Okay.
yo,
We had a little PlayStation State of Play,
We did.
and I just wanted to talk about what people might be a little excited for to see. Joey can't.
Superman. That's
Joey-
why he's wearing the shirt.
Real quick, we all know that this is going to turn into a Spider-Man discussion, but I wanted to say I was kind of thrown off with the Ghost Runner 2 announcement because I love Ghost Runner, and that was actually the first game I ever platinumed on stream.
Ooh.
So I'm excited to platinum 2 on stream, and also that game is just one of my favorite games. So.
I remember seeing in the comment section, like when they were showing Ghost Runner, everyone was like, "L, this game was boring," putting like bored emojis. And then when they showed like gameplay and it got deeper, all the things you could do, like the comments immediately 180, like, whoa, yo,
Bro, Ghost
yo,
Runner
yo.
1 is a sick fucking game. It's like, what if Mirror's Edge was cool?
No, it looks really dope. I've never played the first one, but that trailer alone was like, I want to play that.
Literally
That looked
any
really
game
good.
Gotta
that
replay it.
does that. Like that does Mirror's Edge, but actually good. You know.
Like Brink.
That trailer,
Bro.
that trailer is still cool. Okay, that trailer is still.
I want to
cool.
watch it after
Burn.
the
But
podcast.
for what it's worth,
Brink is an awful game in 2008 or something like that.
But for what it's worth, that State of Play really
FWIW.
it was really just a Spider-Man showcase because holy fuck, that is going to be
Spoder.
an incredible game. So real quick, I just wanted to throw it out there. I feel like we all knew that you were going to be able to play as both Peter and Miles in
We
this
all
game.
knew.
But I actually I even told my students, I was like, I think it'd be cool if they let you play as Venom. But by making Peter have the symbiote suit, that's even cooler. I mean, come on. It's like they make both happen at the same fucking time.
Loki, yeah. You're playing as Venom, just as Venom in Peter's body.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty hype. I'm just curious to see how it's going to work out with the outfits, you know? Because, like,
Yeah. Because
I don't
Spider-Punk just still looking like how he is. and all this
maybe
stuff
maybe
coming
they'll
out.
keep it where, like, Spider-Man, all of his outfit variants will be for that symbiote form, and all of Miles' variants.
That's a lot of art dedication.
And all of Miles' variants will be towards like the regular Spider-Man costumes with gadgets and shit per se. Because it
Okay.
sounds like they're gonna have two very different play styles,
Yeah.
which I'm for. You know, I'm
It
cool
looks
with
dope.
it.
It looks really cool. What was I going to say? Spider-Verse also comes out next week.
Mhm.
I'm going to be seeing that. I'm hyped.
Yeah, that's hype.
We're
That's
gonna go
really
see that
hype.
without you, even though you're still gonna see it. But
Yeah.
We're seeing it all on the
Fancy.
same day, right? Thursday.
Yeah.
Yo, so that's exactly what we're talking about that week, right?
yeah, right. We're gonna talk about stamps,
Scrapbook.
rare collectible coins.
Stamps.
The postage system. The Dewey
I'm
Decimal
very
You know
excited
what's
for
funny?
Spider-Man.
One of my students loves Spider-Man to the point that I'm like, no other kid loves
You're gonna
Spider-Man.
say
this much.
stamps.
Yeah, stamps. He loves stamps. This kid. But he loves Spider-Man so much that to the point that I'm like, oh my god, is that the only thing you're thinking about? Like really thinking about? We're having snack and he's like, Mr. Joey, play this Spider-Man song. And I'm like, who brought that up? Like no one's saying anything.
This kid's just like Spider-Man.
It's like
Spider-Man.
playing in his
I'm
head.
eating lunch. Spider-Man. he's living that shit, bro.
No, but I asked him. It was recess time and they're running around and I have my tablet playing like children's music and I was like, hey yo, you seen the Spider-Man trailer? And this little 5-year-old boy was like, yeah. You seen the Spider-Man trailer? He was like, yeah, he had the suit. And I was like, yeah, that was dope. And I go and I put the trailer on. He sits next to me and we're watching the trailer together. Me and this little 5-year-old.
we vibing.
Me and him, we're watching like, yo, let's watch this shit.
I'm imagining, I know this is not the vibe, I'm imagining Joey and Hasbulla. Like, that's he's like, high five, bro. Like this.
That's please edit me with Hasbulla. Please.
Oh my god.
Someone show Joey dunking Hasbulla in a pool, like a F is for friends who do stuff together montage.
Oh my god. Shit, Hasbulla.
It's time for jamming, yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, ma'am.
I'll just go real quick. My jam is gonna be "Useless" by Omar Apollo. Shouts to Omar, talented guy that guy is.
Useless.
Yo.
Talented person that
You
person
be-
be personally speaking person.
Yo, my BAM is gonna be. It's gonna be off the game Hotline Miami because that game has good music and I've been working to platinum that game. I'm really close. Probably do it this week. It's called To the Top by Scattle.
I want to listen to that because that sounds good.
That whole album is just like...
Yeah, it's actually super good.
My slam is Forever by Drake, Lil Wayne, Eminem, and Kanye West. Because I made a post that shit felt like Endgame in 2009.
Rapper Endgame, bro.
I was like, how old was I? 11?
It may not mean nothing at all.
It did not age well.
Honestly,
Funny.
No, honestly.
It's mean.
No, it felt
I understand nothing was done.
It felt like
me.
closure, you know? Because, like, I'm on Joey with this. Like, because, like, back in, like, the early to mid-2000s, bling era hip-hop was, like, people were fighting.
I hated that era.
It was, like, G-Unit versus, like, Eminem's gang.
Like, Lloyd Banks everywhere.
G-Unit is Eminem's
I know, but what I'm saying is, like, it was, like, there was, like, but then he had, like, D12.
Yeah, they're all together. It's like...
But it was, like, there was beef for a little bit.
Okay.
It was just, like... The Avengers, bro. They came together to make that song, and everyone was like, "Whoa!"
Man, it was all about rap groups back then.
Yeah.
It was more like G-Unit versus Young Money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just the Young Money. Speaking
Is
of...
yours going to be like Monster by Kanye West?
Yeah, my yam is... No, it's actually Monster by Skillet.
Feel like a monster.
No, my yam is Reefers by bsd.u.
That's bad.
Yeah, it's a...
bsd.u. I have... he makes beats, right?
He's like a lo-fi hip-hop guy.
Yep.
One of his albums in like 2017 is like all like jazz rappy influenced, and this is like the first song off that. It's really, really good. It's like a minute, but it has like the best guitar line.
I have a bsd.u jam. Yeah. It's called Late Night.
Yeah, that's a good one.
All right. Thanks for watching this episode of The Joystick Show, episode 143. It's been a pleasure. It's been a fun time. We got to talk a lot about nostalgia, oddly enough, it's always fun for me. I like talking about old school stuff. It's a great time. Got to talk about Grandma's house. Got to talk about the new Spider-Man game. And you know, we're going to be selling early access tickets to DeSantisland. So stay tuned for that.
Can I work the Halloween Horror Nights at DeSantisland?
Absolutely.
That sounds so scary.
All the Ron DeSantis masks that terrify people. No.
It's horrible.
It's like...
Oh, I'm gay.
Off-color bills that pass. They're like, oh... Fucking you know what? Thanks for stopping by. Really, that's you know what I'm gonna do. Hold on, we're gonna turn this into like a kids, like a interactive show.
Oh god.
Hey there. Thanks for watching, buddy. Do you see Jerry? Huh? Where? Here? Here? There? Here? I don't know where this is.